from the Tibetan Parliament in exile. As the 17th Tibetan Parliament in exile, the democratically elected leaders in exile, and the representatives of over 6 million Tibetans, both within Tibet and in exile, we would like to bring to the attention of Your Excellency's government the most pressing issues faced by the Tibetan people under the Chinese Communist regime. The Tibetan people have been traumatized by the systematic violations of their most fundamental human rights and threat to their distinct culture and national identity since the People's Republic of China invaded Tibet in 1949. Over the last 7 decades, the situation in Tibet has been deteriorating to the extent that it is now facing imminent threat of the cultural genocide and Tibet's total annihilation of the Tibetan identity. Historically, Tibet was an independent nation having an identity, defined territory, distinct population, governments, and maintained diplomatic relations with its neighboring countries. Geographically, Tibet exists as a buffer state for more than 2,000 years between two Asian giants, India and China, until its illegal occupation of China in 1959. So now read out the 10 points which is appeal to the government of India and its people. In view of these circumstances, we propose the following appeals to a government and urge to: first, recognize Tibet as an occupied nation with its own independent and sovereign powers backed by historical evidence. Second, desist from endorsing China's false narrative by labeling Tibetans as a minority, referring to Tibet's occupation as an internal issue of Beijing and proclaiming Tibet as a part of China, thereby aiding China's colonization of Tibet and the subjugation of Tibetans, while denying us Tibetans the space and scope to negotiate for more meaningful freedom for Tibetans. Number 3, call on the People's Republic of China to re-engage in substantive dialogue with the representatives of His Holiness the Dalai Lama without preconditions to resolve the Tibet issue, China conflict through the middle way approach, policy of seeking genuine and meaningful autonomy within the framework of the PRC's constitution. Number 4, call upon the United Nations Framework Convention on Climatic Change to launch scientific research studies on the PRC government policies, the exploitation of Tibet's natural resources, and its negative impact on global climatic change. And 5th, pressure China to ensure access to independent human rights organizations to monitor and report on the human rights situation, and likewise extend standing invitation to UN special reporters, in particular those focusing on freedoms of opinion and expression, peaceful assembly and association, and human rights defenders, facilitating their visit to Tibet as soon as possible. Number 6, urge the PRC government to unconditionally release all Tibetan political prisoners, including Gandhin Chogyam Nyima, the 11th Panchen Lama, whose whereabouts and well-being remains unknown since 17 May 1995. Number 7, place the human rights situation in Tibet in context of the nature of the Tibet-China conflict as international and unresolved. Join the world leaders in displaying concern over human rights violation and religious repression in Tibet, and urge the government to adopt a Magnitsky Act to put Chinese officials on a national list of sanctions. Number 8, establish a national legislative framework to tackle China's networking, authoritarianism, and disinformation campaign, which causes public mistrust in democratic institutions, political polarization, and threatens regional and global geopolitical stability and peace. Number 9, expand and deepen your official and diplomatic engagements with the Central Tibetan Administration, which is the continuation of the former government Tibet's independent Tibet in Lhasa as the legitimate representatives of the Tibetan people. Last, number 10, to urge the legislators to express their concern and raise their voice over the human rights violation in Tibet to all the available platforms. We remain immensely grateful to your government and its people for standing for Tibet, for standing for truth, and for keeping alive our faith and peace and justice. Thank you very much.